Modi's 3.0's first budget has been tabled by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in a bid to achieve $5 trillion economy target. The government has identified 9 key priority areas. One of these is promoting skilled employment in the country. The budget has envisaged creation of 3 crore new jobs to bolster the economy. To realize this, 2 lakh crores have been outlaid by the centre. Schemes to enhance skilling opportunities, provide incentives for freshers, support employers and facilitate job creation in manufacturing in particular have of course been announced. An ambitious internship plan has also been announced by the government. The centre will be launching this comprehensive scheme for providing internship opportunities in 500 top companies to 1 crore youth in 5 years. The primary objective is to provide 12 months exposure to interns to a business environment. Additionally, an internship allowance of 5,000 rupees per month along with a one-time assistance of 6,000 rupees will be provided. Companies will be expected to bear the training cost and 10% of the internship cost from their CSR funds. Finance Minister Sitharaman has specified that youth aged between 21 and 24 who are not employed and not engaged in full-time education will be eligible to apply. We know that internships are important. These are temporary work experience offered by organizations, usually on a short-term basis. They last from a few months to a year, and now these will of course help students gain experience in a specific industry and also provide an opportunity to acquire practical skills. Well, there have, of course, been concerted efforts over the last few years from government to make the vocational education and skill development ecosystem more effective across key segments like schools, ITIs and private training institutes. Pre-vocational and vocational courses have also been offered at schools, and the integration of vocational education in higher education is also a very strategic initiative. Let me quickly, in fact, also tell our viewers about the government's thrust on this. Clearly in this budget has come on the polishing of skills of students and recent graduates via these internships, and it's clearly quite a game-changing move which was being spoken about by our panelists earlier as well. Jayant Krishna, let me quickly draw you in here earlier of CSIS India on internships. How big of a game changer is this move by the government, and how are these companies going to be selected? Reportedly, they're going to be top 500 companies enlisted to start within this program.
Yeah, so I think if executed well, it will be a game changer. And, I'm very happy as a former CEO of the National Skill Development Corporation, and we ran a substantive part of the Skill India mission the years I was in government. And I'm very happy that, so many skilling initiatives have seen the light of the day, and incentives and internship, as I said, incentives for that are going to go a long way. As I said, that, it is not with any company. It is with top 500 companies. So, they'll have an in-house training system in place. They'll have their processes in place. So I think those are the companies who are not, they're not fly-by-night operators. They will do the right way, and people will soil their hands and learn the hard way. Very, very clear, close to what happens in Germany under their dual system. So that I'm very, very hopeful. There are other things also, they have linked with the EPFO enrollment and the additional jobs created both by manufacturing and service sector. I think that's very important. And under different schemes, if your salary is up to 1 lakh, then X happens. If there are 3 different categories that they've talked about, but government is providing a direct benefit, direct incentive in terms of absorbing some of the PF payments and so on and so forth, for new jobs created. I think that's very good. And they've also talked about, they haven't specified, I haven't read the fine print. They've talked about a new skilling scheme over and above internship, which will skill, 20 lakh youths over 5 years. Because let me tell you, we have seen during pandemic, how investments, a lot of global manufacturing supply chains, their manufacturing companies, they've been trying to relocate part of their investments in China, or at least new incremental investments that they're looking at newer locations. India ideally should have been at the forefront of grabbing those opportunities. Some opportunities have come to India. It's not that nothing has come to us, but more could have happened if we had invested adequately in Industry 4.0 technologies, Internet of Things, AI, 3D printing, data sciences, these kind of things. If we had made proper investment, there's some beginning which has been made. But clearly, as a country, we have a long way to go.
Okay.
So I think this is very encouraging. And one additional thing, they talked about upgrading 1,000 ITIs. That's very important. But my only caution is government should not do it under a government's governance structure, of the state government. ITIs are there in the state government. The government ITIs are with the state governments, not with the central government. And it's very important that they run in a public-private partnership mode. Otherwise, this experiment has been tried. First it was tried almost 15, 20 years ago with the World Bank funded project, but it didn't work out because the government appointed a chairman from the private sector, but that didn't give the chairman enough teeth to run the ITI. So I think we must learn from what went wrong with the privatization, semi-privatization of ITIs, and must make those 500 perhaps corporates who to whom the internship would apply.
Dr. Bhattacharya, how big a game changer is this, and how is this scheme really going to pan out now? Is the big question.
A little while earlier also, it is a significant game changer. It's not that it's a silver bullet, but it's a significant game changer. Also, please do keep in mind that along with it, there will be incentives from the state level also. So if you're giving, support for the interns for the first 2 years, which is part of the plan, but if you're setting up new industries in the state level, the state incentive policies also provide support. So there is significant support coming in for new jobs getting created. As an example, I was involved in setting up Kia Motors when it was entering India, and we did get a lot of incentives from government of Andhra Pradesh to skill the youth in Andhra Pradesh and then hire them. And along with it, when the central government scheme comes in, that's a huge amount of money being put into the hands of the corporate. Now, I think the devil lies in the detail as to how this will be disbursed, how will the companies be chosen. When it says top 500 companies, if the company does not exist in India and it's coming from outside, let's say it is Tesla coming in, then it's not a top 500 company in India. So how do you select that it's a top 500 company, because its revenues will be zero insofar as India is concerned? So those are devil in the details kind of issue, but I'm sure the government will resolve it. In terms of the intent, this is a significant game changer. I hope it moves to the Fabernhof model in Germany that one of the panelists was mentioning. That would lead to a high quality of skill coming in. But unfortunately, we also need to keep in mind that manufacturing is slipping away from Germany for multiple other reasons, and one of that is robotics. So what the highly trained German workers could do is getting replaced by robotics, and hence we need to keep in mind as to what kind of skills we're imparting. Are these future-proof skills, and can we have a program of continuous retraining so that as and when the skills gets out of date, they can be reskilled and retooled and brought back into the workforce. So those are all devil in the detail kind of issues that needs to be looked at as we implement these policies.
Absolutely. Ashok Sehgal, it is of course a game changer. We all know how important internships are in giving practical training and exposure to, of course, business environments to prospective aspirants. How important is this scheme that has been announced? How will it pan out, and how will the government be assisting and incentivizing companies to actually take on more such interns?
I think Dr. Bhattacharya has touched on a very, very important point. How will this work out in practice? How will these disbursements be made? Because the experience of MSMEs or would-be exporters always is that you go into something expecting certain incentives to be given to you, you make the expense, you claim the expense, everything is legitimate, and your submissions are accepted. But for some reason or the other, the disbursement doesn't happen. The experience we've been quoted by various MSMEs is, for example, that they take part in international trade fairs, good support from the government, good support from the EPC, everything is fine. But at the end of it, when the reimbursement has to happen, it takes 2 years or more for that reimbursement to happen. Now, that is very unfair. Now, I hope that something like this does not undermine the scheme for the trainees, the interns, and the skilling on the job, which the government has announced. A lot of care has to be taken that this happens, because it is that final incentive being on paper is no good. It has to be something which practically a person feels that if I have spent time, effort, and money and trained up somebody, I am getting reimbursed for it. Another aspect, again, from an MSME point of view, is that unfortunately, MSMEs do rely a lot on relatively untrained people that are taken, unlike the large corporates whose big name attracts the best talent, whether it be from the IITs or the engineering colleges or even the ITIs. The MSMEs find it very difficult to get really pre-qualified employees, if I may say so. And then you spend a year or two training them. The moment they reach a certain level of competence, they leave and go away. And they go away to the larger industry, which is more glamorous. So this is another challenge which, particularly from the MSME point of view, or from anything but the largest 500 names, let us say, would face this question. How do you attract and maintain and attract and retain the talent which you have nurtured, you have trained, and then he's pulled away by a larger company? You would have heard recently about L&T, a company like L&T complaining that they cannot get project supervisors, 25,000 vacancies, which they cannot fill. If a company of the level and reputation and quality of management of L&T finds it difficult to fill its employee needs, you can imagine the difficulties faced by smaller industries. So this is a challenge which is not just which the government is supporting the industry,
Yes.
but I think it's partly a change in the thinking and mindset of people who are to be employed. And that also needs to be tackled somehow. I'm not sure how that can do it, and I'm not sure the budget can do it, but that is another constraint which must be looked at.
Right. How do we, further incentivize such internship opportunities, D.R.E. Babu? How have you been doing it as part of your association and your industry? And what do you make of the government's scheme? Is it a step in the right direction, particularly, of course, for youth who may not have the adequate skills, even though they have the degree?
Yeah, skilling is definitely needed in our construction industry. Almost 7 crore people are working in our industry. And if you really go with them, they are unskilled labor. Mostly it is unskilled labor. They can be converted to skilled labor, and the entire India get benefited because of the skilling abilities. So what we have done, very small time, 1 year, we have done about 40,000 people trained. But immediately the program is withdrawn because of maybe constraints in the funds and constraints for something else. And now they again come back with the skilling funds. As far as our industry is concerned, today we are mostly organized companies. We as Claret go to the every site and make them to learn and give we have the expertise also, we have the people also to go there, workplace, and give the training program for about 15 days and make them to understand what is the importance of the skilling. And 1 year we can do the same batch, and the next year we can make more improvements in their skilling also. If we can do continuously for 3 years, what they learn in first year, what they learn in second year, what they learn in third year, by that time, if they not become like German skilled workers, at least they will be second level of the German skilled workers. So this makes the entire industry, not only this industry here in India, it will even for them, they'll get an opportunity to go abroad and give some foreign exchange benefit to the country also. Today, most of the money is coming from the Gulf, from the poorest of the skilled people.
Yes.
They are sending a lot of foreign exchange. By every dollar we are getting, Indian government is getting benefit of 30% on the duties. That means the return is there. Foreign exchange is coming free of cost. So that is one area. Definitely, this budget has given a lot of improvement. But my concern is another thing, where we have created wealth of the last 20 years. If you look at the creation of the wealth, 32% wealth has gone to 1% of the population of India. Whatever the new wealth created, 32% has gone to the 1% of the people. And another 33% has gone to in the hands of 10%, remaining 9% of the people. That means roughly more than 2/3 of the property wealth created has gone only to the 10% of the people. What it means, richer is becoming richer and poorer becoming poorer. The inflation cost and the salary increases compared to India, if you look at, it is very difficult for the common man to live in the towns or cities. Today, what is the percentage of the urban population getting salaries, both husband and wife working, is more than 65% people getting less than 50,000 rupees. We can go for any survey in any part of the city, any cities. 50,000 to 55,000 is the maximum. A driver's salary, 20 to 30,000 rupees. A maid's salary is 15 to 20,000. A labor force salary is about 15,000 rupees. So, 65% of the urban population is getting the salaries of less than 50,000 rupees.
Yes.
This PMAF scheme is meant for all the three courses, goes for the poorest of the poorest. And they are getting almost free. That whatever the money, whatever the spending is there in the rural or urban, it is going free. And richer people, where nobody needed to take care of. But the lower middle income and the low middle income salaries, these people getting the 60,000 rupees under, either government is taking care of them, nor the builders are taking care of, nor the bankers are taking care of.
So those discrepancies are there. Yes, those discrepancies are there, which is something that also will be further addressed. Jayant Krishna, quickly come in here on what the follow-up steps now should be as well to further the skill development of these youngsters and also further incentivize. Right now it's just 500 companies. How do we expand this scheme further? And how will this then lead to further placement of these potential interns as well?
I think, in this budget, there's a clear indication. See, so far, the skilling, universe has been a bit supply driven. It has not been as demand driven as one would have liked it to be. So I think it's very, very important to have dedicated batches based on specific requirements and demand of the industry and train people like that. And I think since you talked about the follow-up measures, I would think that nothing should happen strictly in the government space when it comes to skilling, or very less should happen. Government funds are required, no doubt, but the execution has to be done by the industry. People, the truth is, today Indian industry, they have best-in-class skilling. The top 500 companies that you've talked about, if not 500, then at least half of them have absolutely world-class skilling for their employees. So the challenge is, how do you extend the boundary of the skilling that they do for their employees to the community?
Right.
And if they extend it to the community, there has to be some cost-bearing mechanisms, which government must, have in place. And some of those have been announced today in today's budget. I think it's extremely important. People have to be dreamers. With our kind of population, our population having overtaken that of China, why can't we become the talent powerhouse for the entire world? One industry, at least through the leadership, the initial leadership has shown in IT and IT-enabled services.
Absolutely.
Why is it the total almost 50% global market share of all outsourceable IT and ITS revenues?
No, that's an important point.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.